year 800 AD, a warrior king knelt before the Pope in Rome. But when he rose, he was no longer just a king. He was emperor of the Romans. For the first time in over 300 years, the Roman Empire had returned, not through diplomacy, not through inheritance, but through blood, conquest, and relentless ambition. This is the story of Charles the Conqueror, the man who reshaped Europe and changed history forever. Charles was born around 742 AD, the son of Pepin the Short, king of the Franks. But this was no peaceful inheritance. The Frankish kingdom was surrounded by enemies. The fierce Saxons to the north, the powerful Lombards in Italy, Muslim forces in Spain, rival tribes across Europe. When Pepin died in 768, Charles shared the throne with his brother Charlemagne. It didn't last long. 3 years later, Charlemagne mysteriously died, leaving Charles the sole ruler. Coincidence? Or destiny? Now alone on the throne, Charles began what would become one of the most brutal and successful military campaigns in European history. He wasn't just defending territory. He was building an empire. For over 30 years, Charles fought one relentless enemy: the Saxons. They were pagan warriors who resisted Frankish rule and Christianity. And Charles wanted both. What followed was one of the longest and bloodiest campaigns of the Middle Ages. Villages burned. Rebellions crushed. Entire tribes forcibly converted. In 782 AD, after a Saxon uprising, Charles ordered the execution of 4,500 prisoners in a single day at Verdun. A massacre. To his enemies, he was a butcher. To his followers, he was God's chosen sword. Eventually, the Saxons broke. Northern Europe began to change, not by persuasion, but by conquest. And Charles' reputation grew. By the late 790s, Charles controlled most of Western Europe, modern-day France, Germany, northern Italy, parts of Spain. He was the most powerful ruler in Europe. But something greater was coming. On Christmas Day, 800 AD, Charles attended Mass at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. As he knelt in prayer, Pope Leo III placed a golden crown on his head and declared, "Charles Augustus, crowned by God, Emperor of the Romans." It shocked the world. The Western Roman Empire, dead for centuries, had been reborn. And Charles had become Charlemagne. Not just a king, an emperor. But here's what most people don't know. Charles wasn't just a conqueror. He was a reformer. He believed ignorance was weakness. Under his rule, schools were established across his empire. Monasteries preserved ancient Roman texts. Latin was standardized. Laws were written and enforced. This period became known as the Carolingian Renaissance. While Europe had been slipping into darkness, Charles tried to bring back learning. He couldn't even write fluently himself. Yet he surrounded himself with scholars. A warrior king who valued books as much as swords. That balance made him different. Charles ruled through loyalty and fear. He divided his empire into regions governed by counts. He sent royal inspectors called missi dominici to prevent corruption. He demanded unity in religion. He tolerated no rebellion. His empire stretched over 1,000,000 square kilometers. But it depended on one thing: him. And that was the weakness. Because empires built by one strong man rarely survive him. Charlemagne died in 814 AD. He was buried in Aachen. His only surviving legitimate son, Louis the Pious, inherited the empire. But Louis lacked his father's strength. Within a generation, the empire split apart. Grandsons fought each other. Europe fractured. The dream of a united empire faded. But the impact remained. Modern France and Germany. The idea of a united Christian Europe. The concept of the Holy Roman Empire. All trace back to Charles the Conqueror. He ruled with steel. He built with faith. He conquered with fire. And though his empire fell, his shadow still stretches across Europe. If you enjoyed this story of power, conquest, and empire, then you'll love what's coming next on Legacy Lens. History isn't just dates and names. It's ambition. It's blood. It's the rise and fall of giants. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves history, and subscribe to Legacy Lens for more powerful stories from the past. Because the past is never truly dead. It's waiting to be remembered.